Pranams to Sadguru and Swamiji. Thank you all for having me here today in your august company. No doubt, there are many tirelessly conducted peace conferences in and around the world periodically. But with due apologies, we should confess that peace is there only inside the meeting hall, but everywhere else in the globe, we find only chaos and confusion. People in general have lost their patience to adjust with others and fail to live in peaceful coexistence with the brethren of the society. We often forget that there is a limit to our greediness to possess property, be it money, jewel, or land, whatever it is, or be it individual or government. It is time to recollect Mahatma Gandhi's statement that the natural resources belong to one and all when he declared the earth, the air, the land, and the water are not an inheritance from our forefathers, but on loan from our children. The contemporary scenario prevailing throughout is really alarming because of the following reasons. Man's insatiable greediness surpasses the limits, resulting in the exploitation of scientific advancement and technological development. This trend leads to the degradation of moral values and spiritual activities. For want of clarity in religious pursuits and the prevalence of superstitions thereof, make religious understanding and adherence very complicated. All over the globe, we come across economic exploitation, social disturbance, political turmoil, more degeneration, religious fundamentalism, etc., which certainly hamper the peaceful coexistence of mankind. Man's self-centeredness and the quest to conquer nature cause environmental pollution and ecological debasements, etc. I am afraid that I may be alleged of projecting a very total, gloomy, pessimistic picture about peace and harmony in the world as a whole. During those moments when we feel agitated with anxiety and worry, there are several paths we can take to calm down and restore our inner peace. The peace outside is the outcome of inner peace. He who lives in harmony with himself lives in harmony with the universe. To quote Buddha, peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. Without means outside. Some of us find being surrounded by nature soothing. Many of us practice yoga to relieve stress, and others turn to God and their fight to balance the weary soul, the tiresome soul. Achieving world peace is something that leaders across the globe have been working towards for decades, but we can all do our part by being kind to one another. Thankfully, there are words of wisdom from philosophers, world leaders, and other notable figures about peace that remind us there is still goodness in the world and inspire our hope for a peaceful planet. Hopefully, this will inspire you to remember the importance of brotherly love, to share some goodwill with your neighbor, and put aside your difficulties with your enemy. As Dalai Lama says, do not let the behavior of others destroy your inner peace. When you make peace with yourself, you make peace with the world. To quote the famous words of Mahatma Gandhi, do not let the behavior of Mahatma Gandhi, an eye for an eye will only make the whole world blind. Religion plays an influential role in development in many ways. Firstly, religion offers a wealth of universal values which lends itself to interpretation and practice by individual seekers and practitioners, both religious and secular, to inform their sustainability practice. When I go through the brochure of this conference, I find under the substance, the conference would touch upon Respecting the rights of all sentient beings, deconstruction hierarchies of human value. I am lured to dwell on Sri Ramanuja philosophy of Visishtadvaita to stress my point. Sri Ramanuja's religion, Sri Vaishnavism, is also known as Tattva Trayam, whose accepted realities are Chit, Achit, and Ishvara. Chit is sentient beings, Achit is non-sentient objects, and Ishvara, of course, the Supreme Brahman. The greatness of this philosophy is the concept of Chit, the sentience, comprised of, there are 4 kinds of Chit according to Ramanuja: Devas, Manusha, Kriyaks, and Stavara. Of course, you know Deva, you know Manusha. Kriyak means those who grow horizontally, that is all animals and birds. Stavara means plants. Living gods, all human beings are treated at par with animals, birds, and even planets. Of course, animal and plants are more sentient than human, as there is a fundamental difference. The difference between animals and humans is that animals change themselves for the environment, but humans change the environment for themselves. The Brahma Sutras, known as Saririka Shastra, because they teach that Brahman is the soul of all sentient beings and non-sentient objects. They say that the 3 realities, Chit, Achit, and Ishvara, are intertwined as pronounced by Ramanuja. A reasonably thinking human being is one who values others also as equal to his own self, as according to this philosophy to which he belongs, says God lies inside his soul as Antaryami. Forms and norms are only for the body, but the soul is same for all. He cannot afford to ignore the pains and sufferings of a fellow human being and other living beings, which include animals, birds, and plants, the totality of ecological system. In modern days, it seems of a human being have forgotten that the natural condition of the earth enabled life to come into existence and evolve to the human level. Humanity is disturbing the natural condition on which the existence, along with the existence of all other forms of life, depends. This is like the action of a woodcutter cutting a tree or at the trunk on the branch on which he is sitting. According to our religious concept, Dharmat Dharma Uchyave, that which sustains all species of life and helps to maintain harmonious relationship among them is Dharma. That which disturbs such ecology is Adharma, against all ethics. Nature was never viewed with awe and fear, but with love and affection even from early days. Nature was also given us utmost importance to our sacred scriptures and the 5 elements of the universe, space, wind, fire, water, and earth, were not only loved but respected. The growing relationship between man and nature turned into love within him to the ecological system around him, and later blossomed into a sense of indebtedness towards the nature, and which could be seen in all our religious treatises and literature. For example, one of the principal Upanishads, Isavasya Upanishads, Ishavasya Sarvam Idam. The entire universe is pervaded by the Lord because it is dependent upon primordial nature, which in its turn also pervaded by Him. He alone is thus independent. For this reason, enjoy whatever is given to you by Him and do not seek wealth from any other source, which implies man should lead a contented life with whatever God has bestowed on him without exploring the ecological system surrounding him. The entire ecological system is conceived as a robe of Brahman and is how our ancestors viewed the entire system without any lust or wealth, which means the ecological system was safe in their hands and Sri Ramanuja was one to implement in practical life. Ramanuja, despite his philosophical pursuit, could not keep away from social problems. He was aware that the root cause for all social evils are caste and language. The entire nation was in caste disparity, and Sanskrit was the dominant language. He wanted to annihilate the caste disparity and bringing the vernacular Tamil to the status of Sanskrit. There are many languages in India, but only Sanskrit, Tamil is given this much of importance in Vaishnavism, that Nalayana Divya Prabandham is known as Tamil Veda. So the Vaishnavic people are all called Ubhaya Vedanti. That is both Sanskrit and Tamil Vedanta. They coexist, and I am supposed to be fluent in Sanskrit Veda as well as Tamil Prabandhams. This is the change Ramanuja wanted to do, because this will definitely give a cordial relationship. If you take Telugu or Kannada or Malayalam, if they are also given such importance, there will not be any disparity and there will not be any murmuring. Okay. Such concepts thrown open in Vaishnavism on harmonious environment and human living is the only key to peaceful coexistence, which is the fulcrum of sustainable development of the nation. Referring to India, Edmund Burke, he lived between 1729 to 1797. The renowned Irish statesman, author, orator, political theorist, and philosopher, who after moving to England served for many years in the British Parliament. In one of his speeches, he commented, "In that country, that is India, the laws of religion, the laws of the land, and the laws of honor are all united and consolidated in one and bind in a man eternally to root or eternally in the rules of what is called his caste." When thinking of India, it is hard not to think about caste. Even now we observe packets of pathetic state of ours continuing in our caste-infested land, but in the years of yore, the discrimination was born and silenced. But presently, in the last 3 to 4 decades, retaliation and counter-retaliation is witnessed with the political parties enjoying mileage out of it, which disturbs the peace inside the country without any motive. With the world landscape dominated by manifesting risk, Global Risk Perception Survey, what you call as GRPS, shows energy supply crisis, cost of living crisis, rising inflation, food supply crisis, and cyber attacks on critical infrastructure as among the top risk of 2024, with the greatest potential impact on a global scale. We now analyze world's worst crisis and go them into deeply. Ukraine, of course, the war creates world's largest development crisis. South Sudan is still recovering from a civil war that ended in 2018. The country is one of the most fragile in the world. Syria and Lebanon conflict ending for decades. In Afghanistan, the entire population is driven to poverty. In Somalia, there is catastrophic crisis for decades. The list is endless. But our country is much far better. But we hear about terrorist attacks Putin like Nazareth, of course, Khalistan upsurge, Pakistan and China's incursions. These all hamper the country's economic growth, which probably led to domestic turmoil. But we should breathe a sigh of relief that there is no immediate threat. The growth we had for the last 1 decade has ensured stability both political and economic. It was Pope Francis who said, "Rivers do not drink their own water, trees do not eat their own fruit, the sun does not shine on itself, flowers do not spread their fragrance for themselves. Living for others is a rule of nature. We are all born to help each other. No matter how difficult it is, life is good when you are happy, but much better when others are happy because of you." Let me wind up with a question. Our ancestors did great work for humanity. What will we do for our next generation? So, thanking you, sir, very much.